When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports, and even entertainment. Join us weekdays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
All right, it's a beautiful day. Welcome to a brand new week. And we at VOP, Voice of the People, wish you a blessed week indeed. Well, it's a week, the weekend had a whole lot going on, and we'll be talking about some of those issues that happened over the weekend. One of them would be the kidnap and request for ransom of certain individuals. So we'll get into that one when we get to that point. I'm Moses Humphrey. Welcome to the show.
I am David Edwin. A very, very good morning to you, Moses, and of course, Chisom.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy New Week.
Happy New Week to you too, Chisom.
All right, it's Armed Forces Remembrance Day, and it's a beautiful, beautiful time to celebrate our forces, both the fallen ones and the ones still in service. And of course, we know that our country is safe, right, because of these people.
Oh yes, oh yes. They do their best. They do all they can. Armed Forces Remembrance Day is basically a day set aside to celebrate the fallen heroes, those that laid their lives down for the protection of our territorial integrity. And so we cannot just celebrate them enough. So we just have to continue to celebrate and encourage those that are still in service to know that, look, Nigerians appreciate everything that you do.
Of course.
We honestly appreciate. All right, so Chisom, once again, she's Chisom Eyinaya.
I'm Chisom Eyinaya.
All right then.
Yes.
Well, we have the papers. We'll be touching on the papers shortly, and we also should let you know some of the topics that we will focus on this morning. All right. Now, this morning, we have with us in the studio. Yeah.
And we also have our guest analyst, Akin Fatunke, development consultant, chartered accountant, and public affair analyst.
All right, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to the conversation.
Good morning between Moses and David. I know I'll get to the promised land. And Chisom, you actually pronounced my name without accent.
Okay.
I think that is very, very lovely.
Oh, okay.
Moses, I can see the badge of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
For quite a while, I've seen that on you. That's very patriotic. Well done. It's a pleasure to be here. And good morning, Nigerians.
All right. So there you have it. There you have it. Now let's get into the papers.
All right.
Okay.
We're just gonna dive into one. Oh, okay.
All right, from let's start off with the Daily Trust. The Daily Trust has its banner headline here. Bandits hold 5 sisters after killing one in Abuja. Demand 100 million naira ransom. Pantami's friend raises 50 million naira. 4 other captives killed in Kaduna. Ilorin Union urges FG to rescue abductees. We've intensified rescue operations, police say. Now, this is one of the topics we'll be delving into. So we'll just touch it a bit, and quickly move on. But there are other headlines here. Super Eagles avoid upset against Equatorial Guinea. I particularly like the way the paper puts it. They avoided upset. Oh well. We also have ACF, NEF meet over North's challenges. FCT primary school teachers begin strike today. And on top of right underneath the nameplate, we have airlines trapped funds. Pressure mounts despite $61 million release. 100 days of war on Gaza. Israel kills 23,968 Palestinians. Wow. That is a large number. And yes, so these are the headlines that we have right here. Mr. Fatunke, now we are still battling with airlines repatriating the monies that they've made, and airlines are threatening to leave Nigeria. What is the problem, really?
The problem is that we are resolving the problems.
Slowly.
We are marginally inching towards resolving the problems because I think the problems are very gargantuan. The amount of money that was owed, and we did not have the effects to back the repatriation, which is part of the contract of engagement in the first place. Some of the reasons why Moody, Fitch, some of our investment reasons have really gone down, and one of the indicators, without necessarily wanting to point fingers, of who done it, that Nigeria is not viable. Nigeria might be going bankrupt. One of those indicators. But things seem to be turning a bit positive since this president came into being.
But since the president came into power, we've had more threats to leave airlines. I mean,
Yeah.
Manufacturers are also leaving. The Jackpats are leaving. Chisholm and her friends are still living. And the only thing is, if Chisholm leaves, she should not forget that people like us still want to follow suit.
I'm right here.
The point I'm making is the fact that it will have been worse. And if you are making some attempt to recover in economics, to say the marginal attempt for you to at least be seen to be repaying your debts, you can renegotiate those debts, and you can begin to make sure that a bit of consistency in there. But if the airlines don't come out and do a sabo rattle, knowing fully well what they went through, you call it a braggadocio. You want to go and meet somebody has been owing you money, he started paying, encourage him or her to pay by saying, if you don't pay the rest within stipulated time, I'm out of the window. So it's winsome for Nigeria, at least from the economic perspective. It still lose some. So the problem is that we've not been able to restore the faith and the confidence that we may not get back into being able to pay our debts if we continue to consume the way we are consuming, if we continue to budget the way we are budgeting, if we continue to spend monies that we need to channel into production to get more, and if we continue to have kidnappers and bandits all around, we are not in a good place.
Now, is it that the money is not there, or it is a money that is there and the government is not releasing it to this airline? Is that the problem?
I think it's more of the former. The money is not there because the money has been whacked. You can't eat your cake and eat it, David. And the little that then you have, you are spending it not on priorities, I dare say. Okay, right. Even if you decide that you're going to spend on priorities, so if you had 100 naira, just for sake of, and you needed to repay 30 naira out of that 100 naira, that leaves you 70. Now, if I may ask, what happens to our armed forces? What happens to salaries and wages? What happens to health? What happens to trying to prevent children from wanting to jackpot? Now, I may be sounding like I'm joking here, but it just says that we are not generating enough revenue.
Okay.
Where we had generated enough revenue, we had spent it and we have stolen it blind. And so, what do? Go cap in hand, beg, and let those you are owing see some semblance of discipline in the way you do things, and they can understand. But when they don't see the semblance of discipline in the way you do things, David, they will just think exactly the way you have postulated that the money must be somewhere. Some people are smiling to the bank. Some people are still stealing these monies. Pay us our own, and then let's get out. Get out anyway. You know.
All right. All right. Let's just dive into another paper this morning, and quickly we'll be jumping straight to Vanguard newspaper. Now, the banner headline here says manufacturers threatens as CRR rises to 45.5% to 13.81 trillion naira. And well, of course, there you also find trend threatens banks' intermediary roles, according to analysts, and companies' access to credit curb as cost of money rises. Wow, that's an interesting one there. And then above the nameplates there, you find Nigeria can make progress without true federalism. Obong Atta is the one saying this. And also you find there Ohanese Youths praises Tinubu, Flay media trial of Better Edu. And then in sports, AFCON, yes, Nigeria won. They played yesterday against Equatorial Guinea. Westerhoff Mwano in shock, as many questions about Eagles. Also, still giving you more headlines here, right there at the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. You find Catholic bishop decry high-level corruption in Nigeria. And then Remembrance Day, governors drum support for armed forces, families of fallen heroes. Also, you find there as well Supreme Court verdict, we didn't trade off Kano. And that is coming from the APC. Also there in the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, you find one of the adoptees' 6 sisters dies in captivity. That's not a good one at all. But then I want to come to you, Mr. Fatake. You discover APC coming out to make statements like this. We did not trade off Kano. What do you think that is implying?
It's implying the fact that we might be clinging to straws. I am not exactly saying the APC are armed robbers. No, am I saying PDP are armed robbers, or PDP, or Labour are armed robbers? But when you are in a situation where you have decided to put on a jacket and you are rough, even if you come out stinking, you must have a way to try and defend why you are where you are. I strongly believe that Labour Party, I may just use those words, if they had been accused, likewise, they would say no. I mean, there's no way you can say that.
No, but sorry to interrupt
or
you.
PDP
Sorry
and
to
all
interrupt
that.
you.
So,
but this isn't about Labour Party now. This is about the president's, the APC and the president's influence on the judiciary.
yeah.
Because the governor, Abba Yusuf, did say he was thanking the president for not for not influencing, for not interfering. Now, that might come off as him being grateful, but then there's an undertone to it, and the undertone is: has there been influence by the executive? Has there been influence by the president on the judiciary? Have they found ways to sway judgments in times past? Should we be worried? Is our democracy safe? Especially now that it seems like the courts are basically the ones, helping to determine who governs the people.
Yeah, Moses, it's not about Labour. It's not about PDP. It's not about A, B, or C. It's about Nigeria. I strongly, despite whatever anybody might think it's insulting to say that our judiciary is being influenced by a particular individual. I am not saying we don't have elements of things that don't show that they might have been compromised. And I just want to be balanced here. The police is compromised. The army is compromised. The National Assembly is compromised. We are compromised. The media is compromised. To a certain extent, we are not all perfect. All I am saying that I think is going to be wholesomely unfair Unless if you can come out with facts, figures of how this president, maybe Jonathan, maybe Buhari, has deliberately gone out to influence members of the judiciary. If so many things have gone wrong in between within that institution itself, we should be looking at the National Judicial Commission, the way we appoint judges, the way it goes on, the way lawyers who essentially are great lawyers from the South are not going to the bench. And so if your first level is not going there, and your second level gets there, and then you now begin to now cry wolf, like they say, the whole thing don't war from real under. I think to come out, whether Abba Yusuf says that, whether Mufti says that, because they now have a judgment, perhaps in their favor, technically, based on what the Supreme Court has read, it will not be very correct, in my opinion, and I stand with my chest to that, to now then cast the whole of our judicial system into mud on account of that. Now, if it favors you, the judiciary is doing well. If it does not favor you, the judiciary is not doing well. Something is wrong about our democracy, like you try to say.
Definitely.
We are not practicing democracy, pure and simple.
Sure.
Definitely. But my worry here is not about whether it favors one person or the other. My worry here is the words of appreciation going to the president for not influencing the judiciary. There were talks that Ganduje tried to pressure the president to influence the judiciary, and the president declined, resisted the pressure to influence the judiciary. There are also talks.
Allegedly.
Well, there are also talks.
Jonathan was pressured not to concede.
But
He has come out. So he has come out to mention names of people who are with him and how he went in there. I need to see how this president, I'm not absorbing him, okay? But you see, you are presumed innocent until it is proven. How he has called, I know a lot of talk was talked about the Chief Justice, how he met Bola Tinubu out there abroad, and it all came out to naught. We have our biases. We have our mistrust. When you mistrust, you even believe that, hey, wait a minute. Even if you see red, you call it black. And it's a cultural and religious thing with us. When the Sosoliso plane was going to crash, December 10 of 2015, you know what happened? People like you, Moses, and like me, were on that plane when it got to Abuja. And the plane was dancing right and left. We refused to do what we needed to do. We came out and we started thanking God. We saw those children march into the planes and they marched to their deaths. So it's a cultural kind of thing. Thank God.
Okay.
I thank God.
Okay.
Not really to thank God, but look at the fact that, technically speaking, justice has been delivered and has been seen to be delivered. If I now then decide to thank my father, for sending me to school, if I have to thank my father for now making 5.0 a GP, my father did something, but I did most of the thing. But I still hide a way to want to say I want to thank my father. So it's more of a cultural thing.
Okay. Well, no problem.
In my opinion.
In your opinion. Great. Well, we are just analyzing the papers. We are not... Well, anyway, we have our reporter on the streets of Lagos to sample the opinion of Nigerians as it concerns headlines from the papers today. We have Tosin Ejalonibu. Well, good morning to you, Tosin. What are Nigerians saying? All right, we seem to be having an audio problem there. Well, Tosin definitely has a man with him whom he will be asking questions as it concerns stories on the papers. And I can bet that the man will talk about the kidnapped girls. Well, let's take a listen now. All right then. Okay. All right then. Well, unfortunately, we can't take that audio at the moment. But anyway, we still have some other papers to touch on.
Yes, let's look at the Punch right now. Um, the banner headline reads, 7 major marketers get approval to sell Dangote fuel. NNPC, retail, Total, MRS,
What paper is that, please?
the Punch.
Oh, the Punch newspaper. Okay.
Yes, the Punch newspaper. MRS, others make list, await commercial terms. IPMAN, Petron to meet Dangote refinery this week, iMarketers deal. Passenger stranded as BRT driver down tools overpay. Ex-minister Friends offers to pay 50 million for adopted Abuja girls. And we have EFCC Nigerians want ex-governor to account for 772 billion naira. Policemen not permitted to search citizens' phones. And lastly, we have Tinubu strip gulped 3.4 billion naira in 6 months. And now, Mr. Fantoke. Okay, the headline reads, policemen not permitted to search citizens' phones. Do you think that will ever keep happening, that a policeman will, yield to the fact that they are not meant to search citizens' phones?
The fundamental right of citizens to privacy
Yes.
is all stated in our laws. It's all stated in our statutes. We know it. I know it. Our problem is in complying and doing what is right at all levels. Do I think we are going to get to a point where they will comply? I am praying fervently that we should race towards that time. I will be surprised at the end of tenure of Mr. Kayode Egbetokun if quantum leap is not made to get to that point. And it has to start from the top. Now, police, our brothers and our sisters in the police force know some of the things that they need to do. Some of their supervisors close their eyes to it. And what should happen is to do what I have always talked about, doing mystery shopping. Mystery shopping means you just pretend you are going there, you catch them. You can, an inspector general of police, who was commissioner of police in Lagos, I don't want to mention his name, did something like that. He went from Panti, he began to, and then he got in, he was a mufti, and they said, what you carry? And all that. He said, please, I don't carry anything. And he complied. They hauled him into the back seat when they got to the police station, and the other police station were not doing like this. The guys wanted to that if the ground can open and bury. And of course, we were all dismissed. We need to begin to lead, not just by example, by making sure we punish more of people like those policemen who will always want to go.
Through people's phones.
Yes.
I can do it. You have a responsibility. Moses has a greater responsibility. So is David. And all of us must make sure that we do the needful. Now, there is the downside to it. You have to use what you call emotional intelligence and common sense. Because if they see that you are going to be a spiller, you may lose your life. So here and there. I think in the next, in my opinion, in the next 4 years, we should set up a matrix.
Okay.
All police commands, all AIG commands, public complaints that you can send straight to the police. I also have a responsibility to do that. If they search my phone, send it out there. And that is going to be guaranteed in a way that you are protected.
Yeah.
If we continue to fear, like Fela said, because I don't want to lose this, I don't want to die, I don't want to this and stuff like that, this will always continue. And that is the way. We are likely to get there. It may be very, very slow, but there we must get. Otherwise, we don't have a right to consider ourselves living well.
I also want to find out, don't you think it's about the education of the people to know that this is enshrined in the law?
Education of
to know,
the people, citizens, or the police?
Citizens now,
Citizens.
knowing full well that this is a law. Because again, I dare say that one of the major problems of Nigeria is the fact that we don't have enough education. And I'm not talking about the 4 walls of the university. How do we then find a way to educate the people, to let them know that this is a law? So when you are approached by any policeman to ask that kind of question, you can quickly tell the person, this is it, and I won't do it.
David, we have started. By your statements, we already, the VOP is already, hang on. It's already educating the public. Educating the public is one thing. Imbibing it and having the courage to do is another thing. The court has pronounced that it is not the duty of the road safety to ask for certain documents. It's been out there for more than 2-3 years, yet they are still doing it. They are still doing it because if they catch you in a secluded place, I have seen police who have told me, "Oh, you know the law. You know the law. You know the law." You're just standing there. No. You know the law. I mean, we show you that you know the law. That is deprivation to me. But I would not say because I have been deprived that way, I would still not have seen that and shout out. I think what you actually meant, David, is that we do not have that courage to do and practice what we know is not there. You'll be shocked and surprised that people who have not gone to school will come out and tell you that, Mr. Police, this is not what you are supposed to do. That mystery shopping thing, where we fish out the bad blood, will send very good signals to the rest. And at the same time, you will see policemen, not all of them are bad, we even go over and above, not only to help you, we fish those kind of people out, and those are the kind of people that you should be given national honors, and not and all the spate of politicians that we have around. Knowledge, courage, determination, and the fact that we can form ourselves into groups and NGOs to clean Nigeria. Nigeria is not peculiar. It used to happen in Ghana. It used to happen in Ethiopia. They were able to now then say, no, never again. Let's go through the right tracks and let's get it done with. It is not that sergeant at that corner that is searching your food. It is the chain of commands over and above that will have to go. Pure and simple.
All right then. Well, I would have loved you to respond to the banner headline here. Talks about 6 marketers, 7 actually, major marketers getting approval to sell Dangote fuel. Yeah. Can you do that in 1 minute?
Good news. I happen to have worked in that place.
Okay.
What will not be good news is for you, the midstream regulatory authority, not to now make sure. Moses, you are one of them. I must make sure that what you pick is what you sell. What
I'm not
you
in the
pick.
oil and gas industry. I'm wondering how I'm one of them.
I'm making that an example. Okay, so 3 of us are part of the 7.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
There has to be good regulation to make sure you don't commingle. Commingle means you get from Dangote refinery, you now then say it's part of imported. You want to now bring cheating and gaming the system. Our problem is the fact that
So we
the
should have a
regulators,
regulator.
the regulators must be seen to be regulating well. And if they are not regulating well, they fly out of the window.
All right then. 1 minute. Thank you very much. Well, that's it on newspaper review. Let's get into our major talking points. One of them, very quickly.
Up next on VOP this morning, Atiku shows readiness to lead coalition against APC ahead of 2027 election. Let's discuss this when we return. Stay with us.